Today we're going to go over the Pico Toner. It is a microcurrent device that I have been testing out for about 6 months, and I'm finally ready to share my thoughts on this device as well as the specs on this device. If you are new here, my name is Penny. I'm a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon. I'm super excited that you're here because I actually performed microcurrent services on clients, and it was one of my very favorite services to provide because you get this instant result, you get this instant gratification. The client walks out looking refreshed and lifted and hydrated, and it just feels good. And it's really, really exciting to see devices at home that can replicate those in-office treatments and in-office results. Now, I am going to go over the specs of this device, and I'm going to compare it to some of the other devices that I still use and love. There are differences between all of these that I'm going to talk about. We're going to focus on the Pico, but I think what's really important is just to decide what's right for you. All of them are great. When we're talking about microcurrent, what is that? Essentially, it is the application of a certain frequency, a low-level frequency of energy to the skin to affect the muscles and basically give them a workout so that they lift, they tone, they kind of bounce back to where they were when they were youthful, and you get a lifted and tightened appearance. Now, the other thing that microcurrent can do is it can improve your skin. You can get something called the microcurrent glow, and that's because it helps to induce something called adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Now, ATP is a cellular energy that helps with collagen production and elastin production, and it just is really, really helpful overall in a lot of processes in our cells, but also in the luminosity of our skin. So overall, microcurrent is one of those really great treatments that yields this instant gratification and instant result. And with continued use and compliance, it can yield a long-term result as well. It's important to know that there are different currents that exist. We start out with things like galvanic and faradic current, which would be like your new face fix. And those devices are very valuable and they're very good. And if you use them, you may love them. The deal with it is you just don't ever get to stop using them. When you stop using them, you'll lose your results. Then you move into true microcurrent. True microcurrent would be like the MyoLift Mini, the MyoLift 600. Those are longer term results. You can use them for a certain treatment period, and then you can move into maintenance and maintain your results. To me, that's a huge difference between things like the New Face and the MyoLift. Now, when we talk about the Pico is actually a next generation of microcurrent. It's called dynamic microcurrent by the company. And essentially what it is it is a signature waveform that is able to measure the impedance of your skin. Now, that's going to be difficult to digest, and what I'm going to suggest to you is that you check my blog. I'm going to have a corresponding blog post to this where I go into a lot more detail in a way that hopefully will help you understand some of these really big scientific subjects that might be boring in a video. The important thing for you to know about impedance is that we have a electrical current that naturally runs through our body. We are electrical beings. And when we apply microcurrent to our skin, sometimes it doesn't jive well with that current, and essentially you get no treatment, but you don't know it. What the Pico does is it assesses that impedance and it works with it. It does not ever not treat you. So as long as you're using the Pico, you're getting a treatment. And I think that that is probably one of its biggest pluses. Now, some other things that I like about this device is that it's small. It fits on your wrist with Velcro. And to me, that's a really big plus because once you put this on and you connect either gloves or you connect the probes and somebody rings the doorbell, you're not plugged into the wall and you're not tethered to anything, and you can move about and you are not impeded by the device itself. Now, don't be fooled by how small it is. It is actually super duper effective. And think about things like computer chips now in our iPhones and that kind of thing. They don't have to be big and cumbersome in order to be really great. In fact, a lot of things are moving to tiny little chips that deliver a really, really big impact. The Pico Toner actually goes up to 1,000 microamps. Now, by comparison, the New Face is somewhere in the 300s. 600s. The MyoLift Mini is 400. The MyoLift 600 is 600 microamps. So you kind of get the idea of the difference in microamps. But really what's super interesting is that 1000 microamps is actually enough to treat your body. So in this little device, you can not only treat your face, but you can treat your body as well. It comes with gloves, but probes are an option to purchase. And you can use the gloves on the top of your thighs. You can use them on your arms if you've got crepey skin. It is a fantastic skin treatment for your body as well as for your face. On the device, there's 2 programs. The first program is for wrinkle reduction and lifting the skin and kind of all of the normal things that that we want microcurrent for. And then program 2 is specifically made a little bit lower, and it is all about generating ATP, collagen, and elastin. And the program 2 is so easy to use. You literally put on the gloves and you work just 2 sides of your face. And what you're doing is you are just trying to get some ATP production, get some collagen generation, get some elastin formation. It is the easiest treatment to perform. And the company recommends that you do program 1 and program 2 on alternate days. So essentially you're doing a program for skin treatment and then you're doing a program for wrinkle reduction and lift. So you're getting this 1-2 punch every other day or maybe 4 days a week. So let's talk about the gloves. These are the gloves that come with this device. And what I want you to know is these are definitely the best gloves that I have used. I've used gloves from Amazon. I've of course used the MyoLift gloves, and then I've used these. These gloves are made in a way that they're more conductive. So you're gonna get a more effective treatment. They are really great, and I love it that they actually come with the device, because I do think, as I've said for a long time, that the gloves are more intuitive and easier to use than the probes. Although the probes that are with this device that you can buy as an accessory are super easy probes to use because they don't have a different tip. They are flat or they're round, but they're like ironing tips that I had in office. And what that means is that you're able to use these really fluidly, and they're just very intuitive to use as probes. And I think that looking for a device that has the option of having gloves is super, super important. I think that you want a device that has gloves because it is the easiest way to do a treatment, and it is the best way to remain compliant because it's easy to throw the gloves on and just do a treatment. So just a quick recap. It is housed in a small little casing that you can attach to your wrist with Velcro. You can attach gloves or probes or pads to this little device. You can use this device on your face and also on your body. It uses dynamic microcurrent versus true microcurrent, galvanic or faradic, which works with your body's own electrical system to avoid impedance. So it works regardless of the impedance of your skin. It has 2 programs. One is for wrinkle reduction and lift, and the other is for ATP and collagen and elastin production. I think overall this device is incredibly impressive. They've obviously taken their in-office devices that are used by estheticians and doctors, and they've packed them into this tiny little at-home device using a lot of the same technology so that you kind of get an office-worthy treatment at home. I'm really, really loving this. It's obvious, I'm sure, because of its convenience and its portability. It's tiny to throw in a bag if I'm traveling. It's really, really easy to use on the go. And I find that it works. It's very, very effective. And I see results when I use it. It's comfortable to use, and I'm looking really, really forward to creating protocols for you guys. Essentially, they're going to be very similar to some of the protocols I've developed in the past. There are a couple things that I do think are important to note. Number one, while there is a warranty with this device, there is no returns. Now, if it is defective, of course, they will either fix it or they will take it back. But it's important to notate that warranty, yes, returns, no. The other thing that I think is really, really important to know is that they have created a 30-minute countdown timer and only 20 minutes of that timer is treatment time. At the end of the 20 minutes countdown, there is nothing going on for the final 20 to 30 minute part of that timer. They did that on purpose. They did that so that it's essentially a placeholder in case they have software updates. They'll be able to essentially add to the device without you having to buy a new device. So it's really important that when you're done with your first 20 minutes of treatment, that you turn the device off and then you turn it back on in order for it to be active. It took me a little while before I figured that out, and I'm definitely going to pass that on in every single tutorial that I do with this device. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I will be happy to answer them. But I highly encourage you to visit the blog. There's a lot more information on the blog. I think that there will be a lot of questions answered on the blog. We have a frequently asked questions section, and then I go into more detail, some of the science and the engineering, so that it's digestible and easier to understand in print. I do hope that you're having a wonderful weekend. I hope that you had a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.